I'm Bjorn from Skeino. Today I talk about, in our little movie, which one you can watch afterwards, I'm talking about finishing. Finishing is really so very important, because without finishing it just doesn't look nice. So it's a big subject, and I start today with the first two things I can do, and I will share with you. There will be down the road later this year, there will be some more things I want to share with you, how to finishing a piece. Today it's just simple, two things, and which one can be done with a scarf, and I hope you like it, and see you soon in my little workshop. Our first piece is our new Pisa glitter shawl. It's a 2-strand knitting, and it's before washing, so I still have not finished it. And the subject today is the finishing. So you can see I have here a crocheted edge on the very end, and it's just the yarn what was left over. I run out of the first yarn, so I just use the second yarn, and it makes this a nice edge. But the major part is this is a triangle shawl, and this is the edge here, which one is over the shoulder. And you can see I crocheted here an edge, which one gives us a little strength where the wear is. And I want to show you how I do this. And this is just the edge from the knitting, which one gives too much room here. So we want to crochet a little bit. You see I have a little bit left over yarn, and I should do it. So you have to practice a little bit to see how many stitches you need to do on 1 inch. So I figured out I go 1 in here, then I pick up the stitch here, and that's actually all. So a crochet hook is always a good tool for a knitter for finishing, and it will be described in our pattern, but you can use this wherever you want to have something nice and even, so it really looks finished, versus this one, it's a little bumpy here. So, and you will see it pretty soon, finished, washed and blocked, and this is one way to finish a shawl, doing a nice edge as a finishing touch, because everything else is just floating the two colors here. And where the wear is, you could crochet even a second time over, because this is the shoulder line where the wear is, and you want to have this really sturdy. The second piece I have here is the scarf knitted lengthwise, so you have it on your needle the long way. Some people say there are too many stitches on the needle, but if you do it once you will really like it, because you can crunch everything together and you have just a little something, a little ball in your lap, and not having to turn the scarf around because it always twists. So what I want to tell you is the self-fringing here on this scarf. The scarf is knitted with 12 different yarns and 3 rows each. So, and when you change the yarn, it's 3 rows, so it starts on the left side, 1, 2, 3, and ends on the other side. So you will have fringes on both sides, and you don't have to stitch them in. It's given. And if you have more leftover yarn, you can add, of course, some strands to it. You see this one is a little bit short, but sometimes you just can pull it out. This one doesn't work, but nobody will see it when you tie the knots. I usually leave the ends from the self-fringing work about 8 inches long, and when you cut additional fringes you need, of course, 8 and 8. So you take a crochet hook, you go through the edge here, and you pull another thread through, and then you take just 4 or so, and you can tie a knot here, and the edge will be secured, and you have a nice fringe. Cut it straight, you comb it a little bit. So there is no stitching in, but it's a nice finishing, and it shows the yarn which one you used in your shawl. And here's another model for the scarf lengthwise, and you see the fringes here on both sides. It's still on the needle, and I have, I believe, 240 stitches on the needle, but look, when I crunch them together, you could even knit it all on a shorter needle. So don't be afraid. Crunch it together, and then you have only this little bit in your lap instead of knitting it the short way, and you always twist and have this your work twisted. So, and here's the same 8 inches for the fringes. There will be a little hint in the pattern how to fix the edge here, because when you change yarn, you will knit with the yarn you just drop. And when you start with the new yarn, your first stitch will be done with both yarns. So you have a double stranded, and then you cut it. 8 inches long, additional fringes, 16 inches with a crochet hook, and you just go here in the edge and thread it through. So no stitching in, you have 12 different yarns, there's nothing to be afraid of. And I always like it because it's so organic, the stripes are going with the length of the scarf.